Hey everybody, my name is Drew. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to do a complete build of this. It's a Hasegawa 172 P-38 Lightning. There we go. Just finished it, and so I'll show you how to build it, and then I have some comments and a slideshow at the end, so we'll see you here in a few minutes. Thank you. Hey everybody. Let me talk to you a little bit about the kit. I got this kit off the Scale Model Graveyard Facebook auction site, and I got it really cheap. And let me tell you why. As you can see, this is the Hasegawa limited edition P-38J Lightning South Pacific Aces combo. So you get two Lightnings in the kit. One has the markings for Richard Bong's plane, and the other one, oh boy, I can't remember his name, but two famous Pacific Aces. I can't even read that. Major McGuire. See, okay. So, anyway, so, but I got a really good deal on it. I paid less than $10 for it, and here's why. Because the kit only has one airplane in it, and it didn't have any decals and it didn't have any instructions. And so, somebody, the seller had either built the other plane out of the kit. I've inventoried all the parts. There is room. There is enough. Everything's there for the other plane, and so instructions were easy. I just went on ScaleMates, and this is based off the 1977 Hasegawa kit. So all their 172 P-38 Lightnings haven't changed, and so you can go on ScaleMates and get instructions for all the different boxings of their 172 kits, and they're going to be the same part numbers, everything. So that was no problem at all, and so yeah, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go through every page by page, but straightforward plane build, and so you can see here, and it has the markings that came with the kit. It has that placement there. It also has a paint call out. Okay. So instructions are good. I bought some aftermarket decals off of eBay. I think I paid like $8 for them with no shipping fee. And so these decals come with two markings like you could use. One is this one, the St. Louis Blues, which I know somebody who might like that, Bob, and also Pacific Prowler, and with all the stencils, and of course you got the call outs here. And being Pacific Theater, they're both going to be natural metal with either black or olive drab glare panels. Also, the seller included a mask kit. This is pretty cool. This is the Edward mask for 172 P-38 for the Hasegawa kit, because P-38 canopies and stuff are wild. Speaking of canopies, here is the set that hadn't been opened yet for one of the planes, and you get two different styles of canopy glass. I'm not sure why that is, but here is another one that was in the box that they used one. It also comes with like a little stand. If it's a tail sitter, you can have a little stand there. The kit parts. Here's I'll just pull these out. This is sprue B. I've actually started building it. I'm going to show you what I've done so far, which is not very much. And the reason why is when I did my first take of this introduction section of this video, about 3 or 4 minutes in, I don't know what happened, but my phone camera switched to slow-mo. And so I'm like, when I was playing it back and just seeing, checking the angles and everything like that, it all of a sudden switched to slow-mo. And I'm like, what the heck? And it went like 38 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, so this is a retake of the introduction, but you can see the kit parts. And for being a 1977 mold, Hasegawa, man, guys, they have really, I see tiny bits of flash, but not much at all. The plastic is really crisp. And so in this one, you can see here the tires, they are one piece. There is like a little seam line down the middle of the tire, so you just got to lightly sand that off. Here are the looks like turbochargers, and they actually have the exhaust here drilled out, which is nice. Little guns, props, and the spinners. Okay, let me put all this aside. I'll show you that here in a minute. Here are the booms. They do have, it does have raised panel lines, but at this scale, I really don't care. I think it goes together okay, hopefully. And here is, this is going to be sprue A, and it does have the, I already cut this piece out, but it does have the top half of the wings and the cockpit. But as you can see, again, nice, very nice crisp molding. Okay, drop tanks. Okay, and these are just extras that were left over. So you get, so basically, I get just a few extra parts. Some more rockets. You do get a pilot figure, so I actually have an extra 172 pilot, which is awesome because I have a couple of 172 planes that I could use an extra pilot. So I've already started the kit, and I didn't get very far. So let me show you what I have so far. I'm gonna put everything away and just move this box. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna set that over here. And all I really did was the cockpit assembly. That's it, and there it is. Okay, it's pretty simple. The seat, you got the yoke and control panel. So I can show you here what I've done. So I did this part here. The only bad thing about not having decals is it does look like it comes with a decal sheet for the instruments. I don't have that, so I'm thinking maybe just using like a little dabs of white paint or something to simulate instruments so you can at least see it, but in test fitting it, it's going to be really hard to see because it's tucked up under there. Okay, and so I just cut this piece off to start cleaning it up. But there's a cockpit. And I also added weight to the nose. It calls out for 5 grams. I added a fishing weight, and it is pretty heavy. I'm hoping that'll hold it down. If not, I'll just use the stand. But yeah, and again, when I get closer to putting it together, I can test it a little bit and see if I need to add any more weight somewhere. But this is going to fit right in here. And then this goes on top of it, and you add the seat back, or excuse me, what I want to say, the armored plate behind the pilot, and yeah, then it moves on. So I'm going to continue building, guys. At the very end, I will come back and talk about the kit a little bit. And thanks for joining me here. And if you haven't subscribed, I really appreciate it if you did. It make me feel good. It's been a lot of fun on YouTube and learning from everybody. So without further ado, I'm going to get going on it. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some primer on the parts, the areas that are going to be painted chromate green. And so that would be, of course, this area, the cockpit area, and then do some black detail painting, and then inside the wheel wells. And so I'm going to get that done and then start assembling. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, with those last few parts, and I put the propeller and the spinner on, I'm going to call it done. I also installed the superchargers here, and I just painted those with some burnt iron. And I also put the pilot in. I got him painted. Yeah, he's really tiny, so let's see down in there. And you're supposed to put him in when you're building the cockpit. That way he'll fit. But he didn't fit well after it was built, and so I had to cut his legs off. I'm sorry, guy. Sorry about that. Amputate his legs. And otherwise, I had a lot of fun building it. It's an old kit, again, 1977. The only downer, the fit issues, were the landing gear doors. They just didn't really have anything to grab onto. So you just had to use some super glue, which I can't stand using super glue. It just drives me crazy. It gets messy, but yeah, anyway. And I decided not to do any weathering because it's all raised panel lines and it'd be hard to get things to stick. And I kind of like the way it looks. It's a kind of a show plane, museum plane, whatever you want to call it. But otherwise, yeah. So are there better 172 P-38 Lightnings out there? Yeah, absolutely. The Academy kit's really good. I heard RS models is really good as well. But otherwise, yeah, it was a fun kit. You can get these super cheap. They're still out there on eBay and stuff. I'd definitely go with, if you do get an older boxing, maybe get some new decals. And let's talk about the decals. The Super Scale decals are really nice. They went down well. Didn't have any problems with it. The problem is with the accuracy. So Super Scale really screwed some things up. I'll just give you one example, or I'll give you a couple examples. So you know the decals that go on the American planes, the propellers, it's just kind of cool looking. It's got words and stuff. Well, they printed those in black. So I don't know if I have that handy. Anyway, they printed that in black. So really, so you're going to put a black decal on a black propeller, and you're not going to be able to see that. It's usually in yellow, which I think is really cool. Just gives it a little bit of life. They add decals for the drop tanks. This one here, it only had one of these. Okay, so I didn't use it. Would look to me, it wouldn't look right just having one. The decals for the windows is supposed to be kind of a long no step. They didn't have those. They weren't on there. They were little tiny ones that go on these no step ones here. So they didn't include those. Another thing I noticed too is on this particular plane, and it's really hard to find any reference photos of this aircraft. There's one that I've seen, but these little round circles that go over usually the gas, where you put gas and stuff in, they're typically red, but in this kit they made them black, which I haven't seen that on a Lightning. I don't know if maybe it's correct. I don't know. But otherwise, I didn't use all the stencils because sometimes they would only include one if it went on both sides or whatever. So Super Scale, you kind of let me down here. Otherwise, they do a really good job with their decals. If you're going to get aftermarket decals, I'd definitely look at Kits World. They got a lot of really cool decals for Lightnings. And so, anyway, otherwise, I didn't use all the stencils because you can't really tell what they are. But I did use a few, like this one here on the fuselage, this one here on the landing gear door. I did put the no step decals on. Oop, there's a canopy. I did put those on, but yeah, we need those. But otherwise, anyway, this is I used some PVA glue to make a little light right here. Yeah. And on this one I use some clear Tamiya colors, but I think it'll look cool on the shelf. And I'll glue this guy down. All right, well, that wraps this up, everybody. Appreciate you watching, and there we go. I'm working on a couple of group build models right now, so I'll have a update of that coming up. But thank you for joining me here, and again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you like what you see, please consider. I'd appreciate that. It makes me happy to see that, and leave any comments below. Otherwise, everybody, take care. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.